Mike is fancy. Howdy-ho. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 428 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. How you guys doing this morning?
I am pumped up. I'm fired up. It would be great if I had my microphone ready to go. Let's do this, boys.
All kind of things. Over the weekend. We got Penguins hockey we're going to talk about. Some Major League Baseball playoffs, college football, Pittsburgh soccer. But first, I just briefly, I'm going to dip into this and then we're going to come back to it. But, you know, the Steelers, they managed to lose on their week off.
What do you want to play?
By meaning that they had the time off, so they didn't have a chance to gain any ground or lose any ground for that matter. But everybody in their division wins. So that drops the Steelers out of first place, Baltimore up to first place. Cincinnati also wins, and Cleveland, they get a really big win, which we will talk about more as the show goes along. But Mike, I do want to start with Pittsburgh Penguin hockey today. The Penguins on a 2-game winning streak after they dropped the first game of the season to the Blackhawks. They played both Friday and Saturday night. Friday, they beat the Capitals 4-0 down there in Washington. And then also Saturday night, they play again, Mike. They beat the Flames 5-2. Is this encouraging to see this team get off to this kind of start after, dropping game one to Chicago?
Yeah, it looks like they busted off some of the rust out of that first game. And, second game, third game, they're looking really good. The way we thought was what we were going to see. We're getting some good depth play out of the role players out on the third line, fourth line. I'm reading still kind of like hit or miss, but I'm confident, man. The top three lines are looking good. Jari settled down, the defense settled down. So, you know what? It's a long season. That first game, it was what it was. But we got 4 out of a possible 6 points out of the first 3 games. I'll take that. I will take that. And Malkin's playing unbelievable right now.
That's what I see. I see a combined, and just in the first game, there was a combined 6 points between Crosby and Malkin alone. They go on to play at Detroit on Wednesday night. That's the next game on their schedule. Mike, any thoughts on the game against Detroit coming up?
Detroit's still a bad team. We got to win this one. Just keep stacking points early because we saw what happened last year, man. We don't want that same mistake having to come down to the last week to win one game when we couldn't win any of them. So stack points now. Definitely gets a team like Detroit. They're still a ways away.
One thing that I was able to dig out of this weekend and a lot of hockey stuff that I've seen going up and down my news feed. Tristan Jarry, Mike, he moves into third all time in Pittsburgh Penguin wins as a goalie. Marc-Andre Fleury, 375 wins. Tom Barrasso, 226 wins. Tristan Jarry, 118. Matt Murray, 117. And Kenny Reggett, 104. Could you imagine if this kid stayed healthy?
Yeah, it'd be. Oh God, he'd be a little bit higher on the list. Oh my God, and there's some pretty good goalies in there. Tom Barrasso, Stanley Cup winner, Fleury Cup winner, Murray Cup winner. That's not bad company. Kenny Reggett, huge part of those Cup wins as backup goalie. Hey, Jarry's in some pretty good company.
Every one of these goalies has a cup. That's the only thing that Jarry's missing is the cup.
Yeah, and you think, my God, the talent that all those goalies played with too in front of him. So it's just wild. Surprised that he is. It doesn't feel like he's been in the league that long.
No, it sure doesn't.
But he has been. That's wild, and that just shows you how good this team is. That he's only been in the league for a few years, and he's already up over 100 wins. It's nuts.
It sure helps to get added to a good team. You know what I mean?
It does, and that's life and death, career wise, man. Going to a good team or a bad team.
Some could argue which was the case with Brock Purdy. I mean, he landed in a pretty good situation where a lot of these really good quarterbacks come out of college. They end up in not so good situations. And, it takes a toll on your career.
Well, Trey Lance washed out of there, and he was the 3rd pick overall. So,
yeah. And he's in Dallas now? He's back?
Yeah, he's in Dallas now. Yeah. Yeah, he's backing up Dak. He gave all the inside info to them, and they still got blown out.
Yeah.
That week. He was their secret weapon, and it did not work.
Oh, man.
He finally helped out the 49ers.
Mike? Who's that? Malik
Willis.
Willis? No, is it Willis?
Yeah, Malik Willis. Yeah.
Malik Willis.
No, Malik Cunningham.
Malik Cunningham from the Patriots.
Yeah, what's up with where is he from? I just seen the headline the other day that the Patriots signed him.
Louisville.
Was he on the team and left the team? Was he?
Yeah.
What was his situation?
Yeah, he was on the team, practice squad, on the team, off the team. You know, like all how they do all that roster manipulation to get a guy for a week.
Where did he come from? That's what I was curious about that. Malik Cunningham, Louisville. That's right. I couldn't think for the life of me where he was out of. Yes, you're right. It was
Louisville.
No. Yeah, boy, that was irritating. We'll get to that more. Louisville and just the way some of these things were pronounced the other night at this game drove me nuts. God. But we'll get to college football in just a minute, Mike. The Riverhounds finished with the 0-0 score against Detroit soccer team. This finishes up the regular season. Playoffs are next, Mike, for the Riverhounds. So a lot of people are super excited about this Riverhounds playoff run.
Hey, we finally have a team from Pittsburgh in a playoff.
That's doing something.
This is a huge step up. Finally, we have the City of Champions has someone contending for a championship. Who would have thought it would be soccer?
Broken.
What's that, Derpy?
The curse is broken.
Well, we will see if they can get out of the first round.
They're going to get out of the first round because none of our teams have been able to do that. You know, God, the Steelers can't make it to the playoffs, and Penguins can't get out of the first round. I don't know which is more depressing.
And then you got the Pirates.
Yeah, Pirates.
And then you got the Pirates.
You realistically can't even use their name.
They improved by 14
playoffs.
games. And if they get lucky and sign like 5 guys who are elite caliber players, they might sneak into the playoffs next year, baby.
I hope they do. I hope they put something together. Again, I mean, this is a very young team that the Pirates had. And if you had a couple big arms to this rotation, I think that they could certainly be in the running in a sense of, I mean, look at these teams that make the playoffs. The Miami Marlins, the Philadelphia Phillies are, doing what they're doing. So, in baseball is weird, especially once the playoff starts. The top 5 records in the playoffs all eliminated immediately, which is mind blowing. What is it? Is it the case of just giving too much? I mentioned this last week, and you're just run out of steam by the time comes the playoff. I don't get it. Again, top 5 teams right out the top. These teams outplayed everybody all season long. Tampa Bay all the way down to the Milwaukee Brewers in that top 5 spots. I have a hard time wrapping my mind around that. In this sport, not one of the top 5 teams is able to advance further than the first round. That's crazy.
It's crazy. I think a lot of it too might have been, like those lower teams, man. They've been playing playoff baseball since like the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So they're used to these high pressure. Every game has been like must win for them to get in. So they're used to it. And when you're running away with the division, you take your foot off the gas. We saw it. My God, back in '93 when the Penguins were steamrolling everyone, they get to the playoffs, and then, you're going against an Island team that was scrapping to get in. They were in playoff mode, and that seems to be what's happening right now in baseball. You got the elite teams are just running away with it.
Tampa Bay squeezed 100 wins in their first 50 games somehow. You know what I mean? By the time playoffs come around, you've already been done playing your best baseball for 5 months.
Yeah, you're how serious, are you going to take the second half of the season when you're just so far ahead?
Yeah.
And it's hard to flip the switch unless you have been there and consistently have done it.
Right. You've seen the Cardinals do it. The Cardinals are a really good team at doing that. Besides for that, though, not many teams are really great. But, that's one thing that you'll observe over time watching baseball is the best team certainly doesn't always win the World Series.
No.
Because even when, we mentioned last week, what these Braves, Mike, when they were really good growing up in the 90s, they just couldn't win the World Series. As good as they were, they did the one year, but they just couldn't. As many times as they got to the World Series, it was just so hard for this team to close the deal. You had the 3 best pitchers in the league, in your rotation, and you had a hard time closing that deal every year. Baseball, it's a whole different beast, man.
It is. It's wild. I just hate baseball. It's I don't get it, man. It's playoff baseball. People want to say it's exciting, but to me, it's still just a baseball game. I think people are just there more drunk for it.
I take that personal, Mike.
Well, you should, Dirk, because baseball sucks.
Let me see. Here's something interesting for you guys. A little baseball tidbit. The last 7 years, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. If you didn't know, you may know, but if you didn't know, here's an interesting statistic for you, or a fact. Those 7 years, the Astros were in the American League Championship Series, all 7 of them.
Wow.
The Houston Astros, the lowly Astros from the NL Central forever. They were good enough to get in a couple years with their Bagwells and their Biggios and their Bergmans and everybody else. But this team, this Houston Astros team, 7 straight years in the American League Championship Series.
That's insane.
That is insane.
I don't get it. I don't get it. And they couldn't win.
And they're always the team, you know. I mean, they were always the team in our division. But our thing was with our division, we were never good, you know.
Yeah.
And they could be that team, but now they're getting a chance over there in a strong American League, and again, 7 straight years in the chance. That's crazy. That's unheard of.
It's nuts. I hate that team. F them. F them. F them.
The last Pirates no-hitter was against the Astros. Mike, you know who that was.
I don't.
Combined.
Oh, Francisco Cordova and Ricardo Racone.
Yes, sir. Combined no-hitter.
I watched that game. I love that game.
That was a great game.
I was always a fan of Cordova.
I liked Cordova a lot too. He was very consistent. He was good. He was consistent. I liked Francisco Cordova a lot, and especially for that team, it was a lot of fun. It was 1 year.
Yeah, and then
he didn't make the playoffs, but
Ricardo Rincon, he was like that, like your little stepbrother coming out of the bullpen. Like he was the guy you always rooted for because he always looked like he was in over his head.
Yeah. Speaking of a guy like this, Mike, real quick, do you remember when we were kids when the Pirates were good? Do you remember Rafael Belliard?
Yeah, I remember him.
He was always the guy that you didn't want to see up just because you had a team full of Bonzes and Bonillas and Van Slikes and everything else.
Yeah,
and then you would look and they would be pinch hitting. It would put Rafael Belliard in there.
Mm-hmm.
He was a defensive wizard. Like, I mean, you could put him in and kind of do any role position thing. Yeah. But he just couldn't hit. That kid could not hit. Nope. He couldn't hit. And I remember thinking that as a kid, thinking, oh, not Belliard.
Forgot about it. But yeah, I remember. Man.
Whew. And there was another one too I thought of the other day, Mike. Remember John Cangelosi? He would always prop the back of his shirt up real high when he went to bat. Yep. And it was always looked so uncomfortable because his shirt would be all the way up around his neck. And you remember that guy?
Oh God.
He was another one I didn't want to see bat.
No.
Anybody that does that, I don't want.
No. Yeah. It just throws off your whole.
How far out of it are
feng shui. Yeah. You're not right in the head. Yeah. You're worrying about the wrong things.
You're right. You're worrying about the wrong thing.
I understand, you want to look good, feel good, so you play good, but that's just nuts.
Yeah. He looked ridiculous. College football.
I go backwards.
You be careful.
College football on Saturday. A lot of crazy things happened, Mike. I'm gonna start with your team because your team fared very well.
We better have.
Penn State 63, UMass 0.
Hey, when you face a powerhouse like UMass, you're lucky to score 20, let alone 56, baby.
Without skipping a beat, I'm also going to jump to Derpy's team for a moment, and I think some of you guys know why. The number 3 team in the country, Ohio State, beats Purdue 41-7.
Purdue, UMass, what's the difference?
One's a chicken, one's a no, but we got UMass getting slaughtered by Penn State, Ohio State beating Purdue. The only reason I'm bringing it to your attention like this is because this Saturday at 12 o'clock, one of the biggest games in both of these two teams is scheduled coming up. One of these two teams has to lose this weekend. You have Penn State, you have Ohio State. These are one of the couple games that you really get excited about if you're not a Big Ten guy, because it's a game that is usually between two undefeated teams at this point in the season. Michigan also being another game you could put in this conversation. But this week, guys, 12 o'clock, Penn State, Ohio State, at Ohio State. This doesn't get any better for me because the two of you, that's your teams. Mike, Derpy, who's going to win?
Ohio State.
Derpy.
Fox with their money views.
What?
I think the real winner here is Derpy got his fire alarm fixed.
Yeah, we're not hearing that going off in the background. It'll fucking kill you.
Ohio
couldn't.
State. Ohio State.
I couldn't believe I almost lost my mind one day. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation for another day. Derpy, you say Ohio State. Mike, I think that you're being a little too something, because I legitimately think that Penn State has a shot in this game. I really think that Penn State has a legitimate shot. Do I think they have a great shot? I don't think they have the greatest shot, but you know what? I think they could win this game.
They
As
can.
do I.
Penn State has a really good defense. So does Ohio State. But Penn State has a really, really good running game. Two really good running backs.
That's what I'm saying. They got a nice team up there, Mike.
They do. But like our quarterback, like I was telling you yesterday at the studio, he was like what, completes like 20 passes and has under 200 yards, but 300 touchdowns somehow, or 3 touchdowns somehow in a game. Like, he's frustrating to watch. I'm glad he's in there. I didn't like our Clifford before him.
Yeah.
Like this
Wasn't
kid,
a Clifford fan?
I was never a big Sean Clifford fan. No,
No.
he was too wildly inconsistent for me.
Yeah.
Alar, he's like, I think next year he's going to make that big jump where you're going to see like 200, 300, 400 passing yard games. I think those numbers are going to go up. Right now, he's still being a little hesitant because it's his first go around as a starter, and going into the horseshoe, I think it might be a bit too much for him. A lot of the other guys on the team, they've been there, done that. I would be more comfortable if this game was at Penn State, at Happy Valley, but going to the horseshoe, I think it's going to be a close game. I think Ohio State might blow it up at the end where the score's going to look, oh my God, like it was a blow. But if you watch the game, I think it's going to be like 2 late touchdowns at the end. Ohio State will win by like 13, 14 in that range. Weird stuff will happen at the end.
Derpy.
Yes.
What's your assessment on this game? I'm excited. I'm intrigued. I'm pulled in. I'm not a Big Ten guy. I'm not really a fan of either of these teams. But myself, like a lot of other people this week, is going to say, hey, look at this Big Ten showdown between Penn State and Ohio State. What do you think, man?
I'd say whoever wins this game probably has a good shot at the conference.
You hear that, Mike? The conference.
I don't know.
Conference.
Penn State still has to go through Michigan.
Halfway there. If you win against Ohio State, you should have confidence, though, and say, you know what, we could beat Michigan.
Oh, yeah. I hope that Michigan's D-line last year just shredded our offensive line.
Big Ten championship as well. Sorry.
Yeah. And we still have, like, in this game, man, Marvin Harrison Jr., Kalen King. I think that's going to be a battle right there. Marvin Harrison Jr. might be one of the best wide receivers in college right now. Kalen King's one of the better corners in college. He's garnering some buzz. So that's going to be a fun battle. And, hey, it's Ohio State week. That's the only game that matters. Penn State's 0-0. That's our record right now. And we're going to take down the big badasses from Ohio State, the big bullies.
It's going to be a great game. I can't wait to watch it. And we're going to go back and forth a little bit with you two the rest of the week, and maybe do some. I'm nervous
about this game.
We'll do some adventure. We'll do some fun stuff throughout the week with this game, because it only comes around once a year. So
yeah, my only like Ohio State's defense, I didn't realize they were giving up 263 yards allowed a game.
That's a margin.
That's a lot.
That's in favor of Penn State there.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think they can just pass all over Penn State. I always think that. I get nervous.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm just nervous. I'm always nervous in Penn State games, but it's these big games right
Football makes you really nervous, don't it?
College football does. Steeler games, I don't care about anymore. I care. They win, I'm happy. If they lose, I'm looking okay. But Penn State, I can't watch a Penn State game anymore. I am a complete irrational idiot when I watch Penn State play.
Derpy,
I need to know the outcome before I watch. Sorry.
Early pick, Derpy. What do you think? What do you think the final score of this game is going to be, and who do you think is going to win?
I'm gonna go 42-24.
Cool.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
Mike.
We were on the same thought process. I'm gonna go like Ohio State, let's say like 42-30, 42-28 in that range. Like I said, it's gonna be a close game, and then I have a feeling like maybe like a late Ohio State touchdown, and then like a pick six at the end, forcing the ball.
When you were describing the scenario to me, Mike, on how you think the game's going to play out, the score literally popped in my head, 40-27.
Yeah, it's going to be in that range.
As you were saying, going to be a close game. It's going to be something late that happens that makes it not look so close. 40-27 popped in my head, and it's wild because you both basically picked in that general neighborhood. So here we go, guys. It's almost here. Again, this is why we love the sport. These big games, they come around. Sometimes your team wins, sometimes your team loses.
Yeah.
Any way you slice it, guys, it's football. Football is here. It could be a lot worse. We could be in April, and this could be just the beginning of baseball season. So let's be thankful for these games, and then especially these big games. All right. Also in college football over the weekend, big game between number 21 Notre Dame and number 10 USC. Notre Dame coming off the loss to Louisville last week. They lost by 13 points. This week, they beat the number 10 USC Trojans by 28 points, 4 touchdowns. Total in this game, or final in this game, was Notre Dame 48, USC 20. Mike, what is Notre Dame, and when exactly are they going to join the rest of the world?
They like to be their own little independent thing. They have their own network that plays their games. They just want to be special. And I think if they want to be special like that, they should not be eligible for bowl games. You got to join a conference.
You got to play by the rules.
Yeah. Play by the rules like everyone else. Like, they don't have to go through a conference championship game. They don't have, they play USC and then they play all the service academies. Yeah, get the F out of here.
Yeah, come on.
I've never been impressed with Notre Dame. They're overhyped every year.
It makes Ohio State look good, though.
Yeah, that's about it. I think if Notre Dame would join the conference, what happened to Penn State would happen to Notre Dame, because Penn State, we were independent for so long, we just steamrolled everyone. We joined the Big Ten, and we got checked. It took a long time for Penn State to get back to prominence, and we still have trouble against Ohio State and Michigan. And if Notre Dame were to join the Big Ten, they would have the same issues.
You know who had the same issue last week? I was reading an article that the Big Ten considered Pitt in the expansion last summer.
Ooh.
That is one thing that I don't want. I don't want to be Temple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like being in the ACC.
I think that would happen. I'm
not
trying to be mean to
the
Pitt.
thing about Ohio State is,
State,
nobody
Michigan.
beats Ohio State. Nobody beats Michigan. And a lot of times there's always one other team, whether it be Penn State, Michigan State, Wisconsin,
Wisconsin, Iowa,
Iowa. You know what I mean? It's a very, in the long term, I think they could be okay because you would continue to work to build to be a strong Big Ten school. But I just thought to myself, man, could you imagine this 2-4 team being in that Big Ten conference? We'll get more to Pitt in one moment here.
And then right there, real quick, you'd be recruiting against not just Penn State, but Michigan, Ohio State for all your players in this area now.
Yeah.
To where, that'd be rough.
But they had, again, I'll get to Pitt in one moment. So Notre Dame 48, USC 20.
That's a bad game by Caleb Williams. Now everyone wants to say he's a bust. He has one bad game and he's no longer a top prospect apparently.
Hey, you got to be perfect, I guess.
Right? You can't. Yeah, you can never have a bad game. Just remember, Tom Brady and Dan Marino never had bad games.
Yeah. Also, number 7 Washington beats number 8 Oregon 36-33. 36-33. Amazing game.
Missed field goal at the end.
A whole lot of Northwest. Also in the ACC.
I want to real quick. You had Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr., two quarterbacks that are talked about in first round picks.
We got a lot of first round picks in these scores this week because we do have the gentleman we just spoke about, of course, Caleb Williams. These 2 quarterbacks from this game, Drake May and the number 12 North Carolina. They beat Miami, who was number 25, by 41-31. And finally, the last game in the college football that I do want to mention is this Pitt Louisville game. They came to town really expecting to blow Pittsburgh out of the water. I don't know too many people that would have jumped on the Pitt bandwagon. However, the quarterback, Christian Veyer is how we pronounce his name, guys.
We're just choosing how we pronounce letters.
Exactly. I think they just made a name up because it has nothing to do with the name that I'm reading off the paper.
Not even like the French are going, no, that's not that's not right.
So Christian Veyer becomes the first Pitt quarterback to upset a top 25 team in his first start. The last being Kenny Pickett, knocked off number 2 Miami in 2017. Christian Veyer pulls off the upset, guys, 38-21. A lot of help from that defense, especially a interception in the second half by MJ Devonshire. Takes the interception to the house, pick 6, 86 yards. Of course, MJ Devonshire from Aliquippa. Pitt wins over number 14 Louisville, 38-21. Pitt's remaining schedule looks like this. Next, they have Wake Forest. The following week, they have number 21 Notre Dame, and then number 4 Florida State, Syracuse, Boston College, and then number 17 Duke. So you're halfway through the season. You're 2-4. You beat Wofford in the upset against Louisville. Now you have three of your last 6 games. Half your remaining games are against ranked teams within the top 21. 21 Notre Dame, which I think they go up. They're going to go up today or late yesterday, depending. Yep. Number 4 Florida State and number 17 Duke. So I think that this a lot of this Pitt season you're going to see the rest of the way, Mike, is just one of these typical Pittsburgh brawling type teams, like we talk about, kind of where the Steelers fall this year. You know, it's going to be crap. We have to kind of go to Pittsburgh and play now. And these guys don't have anything to play for, but they're going to try to knock people out. They're going to try to be the spoiler. And we've seen this Pitt team do this many times before, actually, especially against ranked teams. So it's going to be a wild ride the rest of the way. I don't know where they're going to finish. They have to win, 6 games to be bowl eligible?
Yeah, they're going to win 4. They're going to beat all 3 unranked opponents and one more upset to be just bowl eligible. That's going to be a tough
or they could beat the 3 teams that aren't ranked and then one of the bowl team or one of the ranked teams.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Syracuse, and Boston College.
That's what I meant. My bad.
And then if you could upset Notre Dame, I hope they upset Notre Dame. That'll be a fun one.
Yeah, that might be the only game this year I root for Pitt to win.
Because of the 3 of the Notre Dame, Florida State, and Duke, I would much rather, the biggest upset I would like to see would be Notre Dame, just because.
I would love it. It would be great. Yeah. And it's at Pitt, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
We do. And we have a pretty good. We have a pretty good track record. They have an overall series against us, but they were in. We played Notre Dame many times.
Yeah.
We've had pretty decent success.
I'm rooting for the upset.
Starts with Wake Forest next week. I believe the Syracuse game is up at Yankee Stadium.
Oh, wow.
If I'm not mistaken, the 2 of those
I
teams
think that's right.
And so that'll be fun. So you know what? The season's not over. It's going to be fun. A lot of speculation.
You're right.
Going
It's
on.
at Yankee Stadium.
A lot of speculation.
That's an interesting to play.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be fun. A lot of speculation around the head coach. Is he going to go somewhere else? Who knows? But you know what? There's still 6 games, 3 of them ranked. One's at Yankee Stadium. Let's go Pitt. H2P. And guess what? We still got MJ. We still got guys that from Aliquippa. So we will be keeping a close eye on this team, no matter how many games they don't win.
I like the way you phrase that.
They had an attendance of 46,926 at the game Saturday night. I don't know if you left the house in this area, which you may or may not have, but it was nasty. It was nasty out. It was that cold rain. It was coming down in these sheets. You know what I'm talking about, where it's uncomfortable. If you're out in it, you get really wet really fast, and it just kind of sits on you because it's not a torrential downpour. It's these sheets of kind of a light, cold rain. But they still managed to put out almost 47,000 people came down to Acrisure to cheer on Pitt on Saturday night, and it helped. So great job. To the NFL, Mike.
NFL.
Derpy.
What a weekend.
The AFC North goes 3-0 while the Pittsburgh Steelers sit idle. We couldn't get any help. No help at all.
None whatsoever.
There were upsets. There's no undefeated teams left. And most importantly, in my opinion, we beat the Browns and the San Francisco 49ers lost to the Browns. You know what? I'm not comparing them, so don't get me wrong. Don't jump down my throat, everybody. But you know what? I think it's pretty damn funny.
It is. See, we caught him at the right time.
Yeah.
I think we said that before about sports, man. It's all about when you catch a team.
You're right.
And we got lucky. Bounces won our way. Well,
absolutely.
I still don't know how we beat that Browns.
San Francisco scored 17 points. That's all. They only scored 17 against this Cleveland defense. So you see what I'm saying? Listen, I'm not the kind of guy. I know both you guys are. You come in and you got to, Derby, I know you like to come in and say, I told you, but I'm going to go back just to last week, 3 times, once on this show and one time on 2 other shows. I did mention that the Browns, I said, could the Browns beat that team that beat San Francisco? And everybody says, no, it's not going to happen. This team is way too good. They're moving on all cylinders. I said, you watch though, this could be the trap game. And sure enough, it was. I had a strong feeling because the Browns are that team too. They're like Pittsburgh in a sense. They're from the AFC North. They're scrappy, and you don't want to face this team when you're not fully prepared as the 49ers. Again, you only see this team once every 4 years.
Yeah.
So, I didn't think that it was out of this world. I thought that it was going to be very difficult for the Cleveland Browns to score any points in this game. Of course, against the San Francisco defense for one. And then you don't have Deshaun Watson, which in my mind is that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day as well.
I think that was an upgrade.
Mike says it's an upgrade, and this team, they managed to they get a win against the 49ers. Derpy, you're amongst Cleveland folk. People got to be pretty excited after this win.
Yes.
I mean, are they ecstatic? Are they like they are when they beat the Steelers? Is it like, is it party time in Cleveland?
It's like their Super Bowl.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Remember the Steelers, the Browns used to go 1-15. And it was like they won the Super Bowl because they beat the Steelers.
They're one win of the year.
Yeah.
But the
we
Browns,
managed to lose that one game and we'd be, 11-5.
Yep. And like the Browns, they had a smart game plan. They just ran the ball. 160 yards. They ran the ball 34 times. That's what they needed to do. And if Deshaun Watson is quarterback, do you think they run the ball that much?
Nope.
Or do you think they tried and justify that $250 million contract? And that's
Another
why I think
Cleveland blunder, baby.
That's why I think that was, it was an upgrade to have him in there, even though, PJ Walker threw 2 picks, but still, Sean's in there. It might have been higher.
Yeah.
They wanted to force it. And, San Francisco, they had a bad game. Shit happens. Coming from West Coast to the East Coast, playing in the rain.
Yeah, we have tough times when we do that too.
Yeah, we go out west and we see what happens. You tend to shit the bed. So I think San Fran's going to rebound. I don't think Cleveland really offensively is going to build off of this because we saw what happened the last time they were running the ball well. That's when they had Baker Mayfield, and they just totally changed their offensive tactic.
I expect them to totally screw this up somehow.
Oh yeah,
that's why I never worry about the Browns, no matter how good they get or how much hype there is. I don't ever worry about them because I know they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. If you think otherwise, you're crazy. And if you think that I'm wrong, go back and look at numbers through history. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This team just shits the bed. That's what they do. Matter of fact, they're Browns. They're brown, shits brown. It all adds up.
They're gonna waste this defense that is playing at a high level.
Oh, one of the best defenses in the league right now.
They are. It's filthy to watch them play, man. They're just nasty. They're all over the place.
Before the game, it looked like Joey Porter back in the day.
Oh yeah, Trent Williams trying to fight all the Browns.
He looked like Shaq in China. The size of this guy compared to everybody else in that unbelievable guy. He's huge.
Yeah, it's nuts. He's a beast. Best tackle in football. But yeah, this Browns defense, they're going to get wasted. It's going to be. I'm glad it's happening to them.
Baltimore Ravens, they beat Tennessee. Tennessee is somebody that's in our road coming up. We'll talk about more about that shortly. They win that game. That's first thing in the morning on Sunday. They win 24-16. And also the Bengals squeaked by Seattle in a close game, 17-13. Nonetheless, that was a win, and that gives our division, again, 3 wins this weekend while we were off. Couldn't get any help. No help at all.
None whatsoever. Like in Tennessee, oh God, they had a big blunder before the half. All this stuff to where they could have won, but they couldn't get out of their own way.
Yeah. Around the rest of the league, it looked like this. Of course, on Thursday night, we all watched the Chiefs beat the Broncos 19-8. As I just mentioned, the Ravens beat Tennessee 9:30 in the morning across the pond on Sunday, 24-16. The Dolphins 42, the Panthers 21. Panthers were up early in this game, but you know what? Nobody was really tricked by that.
No.
Miami's just too good. Again, I noticed, it's probably going to take a week or two to get the vending machine out there in any playing situation. I don't know if he played or not. I didn't see any
He
numbers.
did not play.
Okay.
He was inactive.
Okay. So we're keeping an eye on that. That's the Chase Claypool watch. Of course, everybody knows that I'll keep an eye on that till the day he retires.
Like Tyreek Hill through 6 games has almost 1,000 yards receiving.
He's looking. Yes, he sure does.
He might have 2,000 yards receiving this year.
He might. The Texans upset the Saints 20-13. Mike, a little summary on this. Anything, any information on the quarterback, CJ Stroud? Any information?
CJ Stroud looked good. He did throw his first career interception.
Yeah, what's the story on that?
It did not result in a turnover. He gets picked off, and the Saints are running it back, and the Texans players rallied to the ball, cause a fumble, and they recovered. First down, Texans. Like, this kid is just having an unbelievable start to his career. That's when like right now, luck is on your side, and just keep capitalizing on it.
At this point, Mike, after 6 weeks of football, who is your front runner for the Rookie of the Year?
Right now, I'm taking CJ Stroud. He's just playing. Usually, they're going to look at quarterbacks first, unless there's a running back or wide receiver who's going completely ham. And I haven't really checked the rookie stats yet, but I'm impressed by CJ Stroud. And right now, he's my front runner. He's just so good right now.
He's the guy that you hear about the most like this. You know what I mean? You always hear it's the CJ Stroud watch. Then he's been amazing. He's only threw the one interception. I would have to agree with you at this point. CJ Stroud. Derpy, is there any reason to think anybody else at this point should be the front runner for the Rookie of the Year at this moment?
No.
I agree. I agree 100%. Derpy, always a man of many words.
Yeah.
The next game is the Commanders over the Falcons. Some might call this an upset. Commanders win this game 24-16 over the Falcons. Mike, anything about this game that interests you?
Other than Desmond Riddler just throwing pick after pick to lose that game.
Really? Is that what happened down there?
Yeah. He threw a game-losing interception. His coach was none too pleased.
Maybe if you had got a few more reps in preseason, it wouldn't have been
just a little bit more. Just a little bit more.
Jacksonville 37, Colts 20. Mike, is this Jacksonville team going to win this AFC South? I mean, there's been some raising questions about, Tennessee's not doing bad. The Colts aren't doing bad. Again, the rookie down in Houston. But is there any legit shot that any of these other 3 teams win the AFC South that's not the Jacksonville Jaguars?
I think the Jags are just a little bit ahead of the rest of those teams. All of them are kind of rebuilding, and they had to jump on the rebuild.
The Jags aren't great, but they're good. They're good enough,
Yeah. 4-2, it's nothing. It's not nothing to laugh at. But the Texans and the Colts right there, 3-3. But I think they're just a little bit ahead. And right now, as well as CJ Stroud's playing, I'm still going to take what's his name, Golden Boy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Fabio.
Fabio down there in Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence. Right now, just because he has a little more, he's been through this. This is his 3rd, 4th year. Yeah,
he's a beast.
So,
he's a good...
Yeah, I think those two are gonna have some battles going down.
Speaking of battles, when Clemson and Fabio was in college and they took on the LSU Tigers and Joe Burrow, the next game I want to talk about here. Mike, this Bengals team gets it done. Joe Burrow gets outperformed by Geno Smith. Geno Smith throws for 323 yards, and Joe Burrow throws for 185. The only difference was Joe Burrow threw 2 touchdowns and a pick, and Geno only threw 2 interceptions. But Mike, Joe Burrow, is he coming back around? My thing is this: I think I'm going to consider him coming back around when this team starts winning games by more than 4 points.
Yeah.
The team that I remember seeing last year was a team that was scoring 40 to 20, big chunks of win like that, and we have yet to see that from this Bengals team. And it's such an odd approach that the Bengals are taking, in my opinion, because they're letting him play the whole way through his injury, and that's a road that is very, very rarely traveled, man.
It is too, because you can re-aggravate it,
right?
They
he'll end up being in a worse position than he is now.
Which they probably should. Yeah, should have miss at least like the first couple games of the season. Let him heal him properly, and then going out trying to play through it. That can make it worse. That can mess with his confidence. Usually, he's so calm and cool and collected, and he doesn't seem like his, normal self out there. So maybe they should have, sat him down for a couple weeks. But he was efficient in this game. That's the best way to describe it. He wasn't dominant like he always was. He did enough to win. Yeah, he only had the one pick, but he did enough to help the team win, and that's all you can ask for right now out of him. I don't think he's going to be the guy to go out there and go toe to toe right now with like Josh Allen or Mahomes, but eventually I think he's going to work himself back. He's too good not to work himself back into that position.
Other leaders for the Bengals yesterday, Chase had 6 catches for 80 yards. Joe Mixon, 12 carries for 38 yards. Again, was anything but a dominant performance by the Bengals, but nonetheless, they still win. They improved their record to 3-3. And again, we could have used a loss by one of these teams in the division yesterday.
Like Seattle had ample opportunities to win that game. They just
they did.
They just blew it. Frustrating.
Yes, they did.
I hate Seattle.
Mike, the Vikings get a win finally. Well, they got a second win. These two teams were playing yesterday were the battle of teams with one win. The Bears hosting the Vikings. The Vikings, Mike, they pulled off 19-13. You commented on something. You said it's weird seeing Kirk Cousins out there not throwing to his main guy.
Mm-hmm.
I know very little about Kirk Cousins, and let me explain Derby what I'm talking about. Did you know? And Mike was 100% true. I looked. Did you know that Kirk Cousins came out of the same draft as RG3? That seems like it was forever ago with RG3. He played his whole career. He had his injuries. He came back. He played again. He played for Baltimore. That was the same draft.
Mm-hmm. Back then, that's kind of like the strategy teams would do. They take that quarterback high, then they would take one late, in case one of them flamed out and they find a diamond in the rough. It's kind of like and that's what happened there. But Kirk Cousins, he's been around forever, but he puts up numbers, but he doesn't win the big game. He's not a big game quarterback.
Don't win many games.
He's a number.
He's not a game winner.
No, he's a stat putter upper.
A stat putter upper. I like that.
That's the best I can describe it. 266 touchdowns, 109 picks. Good ratio. My God, that's really good. 66% completion percentage, 38,000 yards. But what memorable win does he have?
Yeah, none that I could think of.
Not like great fantasy football numbers. In the clutch, he's not the guy.
San Francisco and Cleveland. I'm looking right now at the leaders in this game. Walker outperforms Purdy with 192 passing yards to Purdy's 125. Ford outperforms McCaffrey, 17 carries for 84 yards. McCaffrey, 11 carries for 43 yards. Amari Cooper, 4 catches, 108 yards. And Brandon Ayuk from the 49ers had 4 catches for 76 yards. A battle of good defense. The defenses on both of these teams are amazing. Generally, it's a surprising thing. Again, I just had this feeling about it, but you know what? The Browns, they do these things. They do these things. I mentioned it last week when they played the Patriots about 10 years ago, and the Patriots were undefeated one of the years. And they ended up around week 6 being the first team to beat the Patriots. The Browns, and they're obviously overmatched. 49ers they're jam-packed with talent. But as we mentioned earlier, Cleveland's defense is so good. It's kind of, they're going to be that AFC North team. They're just like everybody else in the AFC North right now. There's a chance we could beat you, and there's a chance that we don't. It's going to be unpredictable till the end of the year. That's the AFC North right now.
The offense for San Francisco, they drove down in field goal range, idiot kicker, wide right.
Yeah.
By the skin of their teeth, the Browns team made it out. And
coincidentally, on a day that the Bills played the Giants.
Exactly. Yes. Throwback.
Some will get the reference.
Scott Norwood, baby. I felt bad for that kicker. I felt bad for that kicker because his entire family showed up and he chokes at the end.
That's why I don't ever tell family about anything I'm doing.
Unless his dad was like, "Hey, son, we took the Browns and the points.
Yeah.
You must be missing that kick."
I remember
All
when I
I
was a
know is
kid.
if you betted the Browns yesterday, you would have made a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I remember being a kid. I would never tell my parents when I was playing because I don't know.
You don't want
I
that
don't-
pressure.
well, yeah. And then when I fail, I
Yeah.
look, 10 times as stupid. So
Yeah.
I don't think my parents ever came to any of my sporting events. I used to lie to them all the time, tell them that
That's terrible.
Patriots take the L to the Raiders, Mike. The Raiders 21-17. I guess the silver lining you could take away from this, if you are a Patriots fan, your team scored more than 3 points in 8 quarters. They put up 17 points in this game, Mike. Raiders 21, Patriots 17. Jimmy Garoppolo over his old team.
Yeah, Jimmy G over his old team. Mac Jones looking lost and confused as always. And then
wow.
and they are calling for Bill Belichick's head. There's talks of like, should this be the end of Bill Belichick in New England? 7 Super Bowls does not give you apparently more than like a season and a half to
If you don't have that quarterback though, you know what I mean?
You don't have the quarterback yet.
He thought Mac Jones was going to be the guy. He kind of showed it a little shot of life his rookie year, but he's been.
But this is exactly what we were talking about, Mike. When you have to have that quarterback if you're going to be a competitor in this league. If you don't have him, you're just going out there to make money. If you need that guy.
Yep.
Lions, Buccaneers, big battle of first place teams in the NFC. Lions 20, Buccaneers 6. Gotta like what the Lions are doing.
Yeah, we've been talking them up for 2 years now, and they're finally coming. They're coming through. Did I pick the Bucks? I think I picked the Bucks.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about it till tomorrow.
Yeah, but I can't remember. But this Lions team, they're looking really, really good. And you're like Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's entering that conversation as one of the elite receivers in the league. He's making Jared Goff look beautiful.
Yeah,
which they couldn't run the ball for shit. My God, the 22 carries, 40 yards. So, that run defense down
comes back to me with this Jared Goff is that 13-3 Super Bowl loss. Who only scores 3 points in the Super Bowl? Nobody. Exactly. They're the only team ever to score 3 points or less.
Yeah,
so.
I just never been a big believer in Jared Goff.
No,
like he puts up really good numbers, but he just doesn't. I just don't think he's the guy. But he's playing really well.
Steelers, they're in our crosshairs. They played the Cardinals yesterday, Mike. The Rams get the win 26-9 over the Cardinals.
Another Cup coming back looking pretty good. Like he hasn't lost a step. 7 catches, 148 yards.
They got nice receivers out there. You got to. It's gonna be a good game. We'll get more into that in just a moment. We got Steelers stuff that we're going to talk about. The Eagles at the Jets. This was another fun one. Big upset. Ooh. Jets 20, Eagles 14. There are no undefeated teams left in the NFL. The old timers in Miami, if they're still alive, they were partying last night. Champagne bottles were popped. There are no undefeated teams left in the NFL.
And it's going to be a good night for all the MILFs up in New York. Zach Wilson, baby. He's on the prowl after that big win.
And I tell you what, this makes the 49ers Eagles game more exciting. The fact that one of them's they're both going to have one loss. I wanted to see them both undefeated, but you know what? If one's going to lose, I'm glad that both of them lost.
Yeah, and I tell you what, man, like this Jets defense, man. If they had their full complement of players on the offense like they thought, they could be one of those teams that would be in the hunt.
They'd be in the hunt. Yeah,
one of the best teams.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more, Mike. Finally, the last game of the weekend, before tonight, of course, was the Bills hosting the Giants. We referred to this game earlier. Bills win 14-9, but you know what? It certainly wasn't an easy one. The Jets or the Giants were up 6-0, I think, even in the third quarter at one point. And then the Bills scored a touchdown, made it 7-6 Buffalo. And then the Giants kicked a field goal, and it was 9-7. I mean, it was getting late in the game.
Yeah.
Finally, Buffalo scores, puts it away. But you know what? None of the good teams really fared too great this weekend. There wasn't even the case of the Miami Dolphins. They won by a couple, quite a few touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. But none of the top teams looked really dominant.
No, it's like they all had a bad week.
Yeah,
and it's bound to happen. But it just shows you, man. Like some of these teams, man, that are like on that bubble, they're not that far off from making the jump to elite. Like a player here, player there, or one more year of development, they're going to make that leap. And that's what the NFL wanted, man. They wanted a handful of just a really good teams, and then everyone else right there fighting along and just keeping it balanced, keeping it competitive. And it's a fun week of football. For like to watch upset score wise, it wasn't that exciting.
Yeah,
right. A lot of low scoring games, but they were tight, competitive games. Man. That's what I want to see when I watch a game. I want to watch a good competitive game.
Last game of the weekend is tonight, Cowboys at Chargers. I don't know if it's just me, but I really feel like we're seeing too much of the Cowboys on TV. But anyway, Cowboys
America's team, baby,
at Los Angeles to play the Chargers. I for one have a certain interest in this Chargers team. I really like Justin Herbert. And as Mike mentioned many times on this show leading up to this point, that the coaching does this team no favors down there in Los Angeles.
None.
They just need to give this quarterback to Pittsburgh. I don't know. Maybe
I'll
would be a nice Christmas present.
Is it for a sultry price of a 4th round pick? Just send them over.
You know what? I could dig into our lineup and find some other people we could throw in as well.
We'll throw in Mason Cole too, and we'll just pluck someone out of the stands to be center.
Yeah. So. But that wraps up the week schedule. Speaking of schedules, Mike, I do want to mention in Derpy, the Steelers' next 5 games look like this. Of course, we played the Rams this week. The guys are getting ready for them now. However, the following 3 games are all home games. Again, like the beginning of the season, we had the first 2 to start out. The next 3 in a row, home. Jacksonville, home. Tennessee, home. Green Bay, home. And then the 5th game, they go on the road to play Cleveland. So, again, I think this is going to be very much like last year. You're just going to see sloppy. You're going to see defense. You're going to see low scoring. You're going to see mistakes. You're going to see mistakes taken advantage of. But these next 5 games, again, 3 in a row at home. I don't know how much that's playing to our advantage because, it doesn't really seem like it's made too much of a difference for us this year. But 3 in a row at home, I just think that's weird in general.
That is weird. Normally, you get 2, and that's it. Now,
right?
3,
you don't see more than 2.
No, get it now. Get them out of the way because if the season goes off the rails, there's going to be a lot of empty seats there. Have early in the season the stadium full, but going into that Cleveland game, man, we have the potential of being 6-2, 5-3 going into that Cleveland game.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, or 7-2,
7-2,
7-2. Yeah, 7-2, 6-3 going into that Cleveland game. That would be huge because then the week after you got the Bengals. These next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games are huge.
Yeah,
huge to see.
And in my opinion,
what kind of team
they should be winnable games. They should be.
Every game on our schedule remaining, I'm looking at it. They're all winnable games. But they're also all losable games. We're there's real no the Bengals right now aren't playing that well. And that's really the only team that
I want to catch them before they take off because they're going to take off at some point.
Mm-hmm. That's the only offense that really scares me. No other offense on here scares me. Okay, maybe the Rams a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, but Jags offense, Titans, Packers, Browns, Bengals. That's the only offense that scares me. We might dumb luck ourselves into a 10-win season somehow.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Even though as bad as we were playing, we can win 10 games or we can lose 10 games.
I agree.
This team is so schizophrenic right now. We have a handful of star players, and if they don't play well, we're screwed. But they're all scattered about.
Everybody. Oh, and when I say everybody, I mean everybody is aware of the Fire Canada signs. Fire Canada pops up at the Buffalo Bills tailgate party yesterday.
Bills Mafia showing out.
Bills hosting the Giants, and they're repping the Fire Canada signs. I don't know the story on this, but I also seen that the state capitol, the Fire Canada signs made its way to the state capitol.
Oh my God.
Again, I just think this is kind of funny at this point. How far can this go? Where else are we going to see this? Maybe on USA or not? What's one of the ABC Today? You'll see the people in the background holding signs.
We'll have the Fire Canada sign.
Yeah. If they don't, we should take it because it's just getting funny at this point.
It's nuts. It's nuts. At least it's not happening at Penguin games anymore.
Yeah.
That's a bit too far. To me, that was
I
too far. But
Come on.
I think it's
Too far?
It's the Penguins. Yes, the Penguins.
Buffalo Bills, New York Giants. That's
That's
crazier.
That's football. That is football. That is the same.
Mike, this is
sport.
Pittsburgh.
I know. That's
You're
all
literally
you have to
wearing the
say.
same colors to both games. You don't have to change your clothes, and you don't have to change your underwear because nobody would ever know. So look, everybody
That's
wins
true.
except for the guy sitting next to you, of course.
Well, that's why you just go commando.
Let's see what else, Mike. I don't think either one of these guys are going to be it, but we brought it up last week, but I took note the other day again because I seen it brought up again.
Mhm.
Of these two guys, who would you rather have as your offensive coordinator, John Gruden or Byron Leftwich? I think that you said John Gruden just because he has
John
coaching
Gruden, yeah.
experience. But
Oh, yeah.
people seem to continue to still think that these two guys have a shot at this position. I don't think that's going to be the case, Mike. I don't think either one of these guys are going to be.
It's going to be someone you never heard of, or like a young up and coming coach.
Yeah, right. They want somebody
who
knows what he's.
Look out! Our running backs coach said, he has aspirations of one day being an offensive coordinator. Guess what? He's in-house and works cheap. That is the ruining.
That's the Steeler way.
That's the art nutting way. It's cheap and in-house. Hell yeah! Fire Canada, promote Eddie Faulkner. Yeah. So there you go. Offensive coordinator search done.
Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
The 2dumbyinzers.com, the number 2 DUMYINZERS.com. Head on over there for all your 2W needs. We have links for all of our social media, all of our merch stores over there, all at the 2WInzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. Really nice website. Mike put that together. He put a lot of hard work into it. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. All right, guys, we do have the new trivia this week. We avoided it last week just to keep fresh. Of course, this is Rams week, so these are going to be Rams trivia questions all week long. The team that we are playing. Are you ready, Mike? Are you ready, Derpy?
I am ready.
These guys have extensive knowledge of the LA Rams.
More of the St. Louis Rams.
Okay,
So we'll see.
All right, Derpy, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Here's the question of the day. Which Rams defensive end coined the term sack? SACK.
Boom, baby.
Mike, not the sack that you're used to, but which defensive lineman, defensive end coined the term sack? Which Rams defensive end coined the term sack? There you go. SACK. Take a minute to think this over. We are live, everybody, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. right here. And if you missed it, or you want to just listen to the show that we do live every day, brand new, gets uploaded over on Spotify at 8 o'clock p.m. So you could check out the podcast over there at Spotify, or the show right here every day. All right, guys, the question of the day is a Rams question because that's who the Steelers play. The question is, what Rams defensive end coined the term sack? I'm gonna go with Derpy. Derpy, do you want choices, or do you have a guess?
I'd like choices.
And Mike, you have a feeling correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, so Derpy, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go to Mike first, and then I'll go to you and give you choices. Mike, who do you think coined the term sack?
Deacon Jones.
Deacon Jones. Is this your final answer?
Final answer.
All right, let me lock you in. All right.
Lock it in.
Lock it in. It's locking. And it'll wait till I start talking to actually lock. So
yeah.
Here we go. All right. So Derpy, here are your choices for the question. Which Rams defensive end covered or coined the term sack? Your choices are A, Deacon Jones, B, Jack Youngblood, C, Aaron Donald, or D, Roger Greer. Again, which Rams defensive end coined the term sack? Deacon Jones, Jack Youngblood, Aaron Donald, Roger Greer. Who do you think coined the term sack?
A,
Deacon Jones. And is that your final answer?
yeah.
All right. Locking Derpy in. Here we go, guys. Which Rams defensive end coined the term sack? Deacon Jones, Jack Youngblood, Aaron Donald, Roger Guerrero. Both of the guys said Deacon Jones. And that's correct. That is correct. Deacon
Oh,
Jones
baby.
coined the name, the term, I guess it would be sack.
Yeah, because then it was just quarterback tackles and was not tracked as a separate stat.
So there you go, everybody. Hopefully Aaron Donald doesn't
Oh,
he doesn't exercise his sack demons this week.
it's going to be a rough one.
It's going to be. I agree. I don't know what to make of this game. I'm going to take a couple of another day to maybe try to find the highlights, see what happened in the Rams game yesterday, try to get a better make an educated guess. But I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this Rams Steeler football game this coming week. I don't.
It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be Aaron Donald's a beast. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nuka. Nuka, he's another one who might be a rookie of the year, and B. John Robinson down in Atlanta. I forgot about those two when I was talking about Stroud. I'm just enamored with CJ Stroud. Yeah. I have to look into his eyes like I look into Jimmy G's eyes.
Yeah, right.
See if there's something in there, baby.
Just like the Olsen twins, Mike.
Just give some Jimmy G, baby.
But hey, we do want to thank everybody for checking us out. Each and every one of you, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Each and every one. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. Exactly. Mike, anything before we get ready to take off?
Yes, real quick. Deontay Johnson and Anthony McFarland, they have been placed. They've been eligible to practice, and the Steelers now have like 21 days to decide if they were going to come off IR. And if they don't, they're done for the year. But it's looking like So then, so then like the next 3 games, man. We have. By then, after 3 weeks, boom, done for the year.
I hate, but
I think they're both going to be back. I think they're both.
I mean, come on, it's a hammy. I don't know. Derpy, anything before we get ready to take off?
Let's go Pens.
Let's go Pens. Of course, they play Wednesday night. They travel. They travel to Detroit. I say it was a lot of good football this week. And I think a lot of times when you see a handful of upsets, that's always a fun weekend of football. But the Pittsburgh Steelers now are preparing for the Los Angeles Rams. They're going to be heading out to SoFi to play this Sunday. We hope to continue the winning ways. I mean, again, we just got to keep it scrappy and try to get some things done. But again, we got no help from our division this week. We have to stay in the running. We were in first place until we had a week off. So, that's going to be encouraging. We still have 2/3 of the season left. Let's win some of these football games, guys, stack some of these wins. Anything else, fellas?
Nope. Got nothing.
All right, Derpy.
Derpy.
I got nothing.
All right. There you have it, everybody. We want to say thank you for checking us out again.